Hello, my dear brothers and sisters. I warmly welcome you all to the new episode of Crime Story. Before we proceed with the story, please subscribe to the channel and make sure to hit the bell icon so you receive notifications for all my videos. Now, let's begin today's story. Naina Parmar had missed the local train from Devis Junction to Indore. She sat on a bench at the platform. Suddenly, a young man called out to her from behind. "Sister, you missed the train too." "Oh, a shock. You?" Naina said, looking at him. "What can I do? My days have been bad lately." Ashok asked. "Why? What happened? You seem worried. Is there a problem? Tell me." Naina replied, "What should I tell you? Just understand that a disaster is about to strike me." "Oh, sister, if you know what a disaster is, then it's easier to avoid it. Tell us, we two brothers are here to help." Just then, Galu arrived. "Naina," he said. Naina, surprised, said, "Oh, Galu, you missed the train too? Now that we're traveling to Indore together, it's essential for everyone to be on the same train." Galu laughed. "It's no laughing matter. We must find a solution to sister's problem." "What's the matter, sister? If you say, I can give my life for you or even take someone else's life," Galu said. Ashok responded, "Here you go again with the jokes. Not every time is it suitable to joke around." Galu turned to Naina. "So, tell us, sister, what is your problem?" Naina replied, "What should I tell you? You've already shown me so much sympathy. Is that not enough?" Ashok said, "Sister, we may not be your real brothers, but since we are from the same city, I consider your problem to be our problem. If I ever need help, I'll ask you. But this is not something to discuss openly here." Galu said, "Let's go to the canteen. The train will take more than half an hour to arrive. Let's talk. Maybe you can help me solve my problem." Naina, softly, while adjusting her handbag and shawl, got ready to walk with the two brothers. The problem that Naina had shared with Ashok and Galu felt as dangerous as a sword hanging over her head. After hearing about her problem, Galu's face turned red, while Ashok was shocked to learn about Naina's other side. He couldn't believe that Naina had another face behind her innocent one. After telling the whole story, Naina thought, "We need to help this woman caught in a big problem in our city, who must have had no choice in what she did. Yes, Galu, we need to do something. If it was our own, we would have left them in this condition." Naina returned from the washroom, and as she entered, Ashok and Galu stopped talking suddenly. Naina spoke, "Look, don't misunderstand me. Everything I did because I had no choice." Ashok said, "I understand everything. And yes, whatever I've said, keep it between us. Please don't tell anyone." "Yes, sister," both said together. Then all three arrived at the platform for the next train. This was in November 2022. Ashok and Galu communicated through gestures. After a while, the train arrived, and all three boarded the same compartment. They found seats nearby, and after that, they didn't speak to each other until they reached Indore. They often traveled together from Devis to Indore. Ashok and Galu knew only that Naina Parmar worked at a boutique. They also knew she had worked in Indore's commercial capital at big companies, shopping malls, and showrooms. Naina Parmar, by nature, was a carefree, talkative, and easily friendly young woman of about 30 years, with a full figure. Her face clearly reflected her playful and lively nature. During their regular train journeys, Ashok and Galu had become familiar with her. Once, Naina had tied the rakai and considered Galu her brother. However, that day she sat quietly on the train. In fact, Naina had, for the first time, opened up to Galu and shared her personal story. She revealed her troubles and asked for his help. Ashok and Galu were both shocked upon hearing Naina Parmar's problem and learning the truth. However, they assured her of their full support. Naina had told them that her 3-year-old friend, Vandana Raghuvanshi, had been blackmailing her since last week. Even though they didn't work together, Naina explained that Vandana had explicit videos of her and threatened to show them to her mother. Naina had kept the truth of her job hidden from her mother, who knew only that Naina worked at a boutique. Her mother didn't know anything about her friend. It was the night of November 27th, 2022, a cold evening. In the city of Indore, Madhya Pradesh, The police officers, including Thai Sanjay Shukla, were busy handling night duties at the aerodrome police station. During that time, a message came from the control room, causing a stir among the officers. Thai Sanjay Shukla, upon receiving the news, muttered, "In this cold weather, a murder. This is going to need some extra measures." The information had come from Vidyanagar locality, where a murder had been reported. It was never easy to maintain law and order in Indore, especially at night. Thai Sanjay Shukla, upon hearing about the body, immediately decided to visit the crime scene without delay. Within minutes, he arrived at the residence of Shriram Maharaj in Vidyanagar. There, they found the body of a young woman named Vandana Raghuvanshi, aged 34, whose throat had been slit and red chili powder had been thrown in her eyes. There were 4 deep wounds on her neck. The police speculated that before her death, the victim must have struggled hard to save herself. It was found that Vandana had recently moved in with 2 friends, Naina Parmar and Pooja. According to the landlord, the 2 girls often visited but never stayed overnight. On the day of the incident, Naina and Pooja had gone to the market. When they returned, Naina was the first to discover Vandana's lifeless body in the room. She immediately called the police control room to report the incident. Given the seriousness of the case, Thai Shukla informed higher authorities. The body was sent for post-mortem, and her family was informed. Vandana Raghuvanshi was married, and her husband arrived at the police station upon receiving the news. The police questioned him about Vandana. After the post-mortem, the police handed over the body to her husband. The police then filed a case against an unknown person and began investigating. They began by questioning Vandana's husband, from whom they learned some personal details. He revealed that Vandana had been married twice. Her first marriage was with a man from Bhopal, but after a divorce, she remarried in 2014. Her second husband worked as a housekeeping employee in the railway department in Indore. He told the police that Vandana used to leave the house every day around noon, claiming that she worked at a tiffin center and had to deliver tiffins. She would return home around 6 p.m. Her husband never asked her for more details about her work, as he himself returned home around 10 p.m. Vandana had 3 children, but the police learned from the landlord that she had moved out of her in-law's house and was living separately. To manage the rent, she had taken in 2 other girls as housemates. The landlord didn't know who stayed in the house at night, but he knew that 3 young women lived there, coming and going according to their work schedules. One of them was Naina Parmar, who came during the day from Duas and left in the evening. A third woman used to stay at night, but she hadn't come recently. The police questioned the landlord, Vandana's husband, neighbors, and a total of 45 people about the incident, but no solid clues emerged regarding Vandana's murder. In these times, CCTV footage and mobile phone tracking have become essential tools in solving crimes. The police began examining hundreds of CCTV camera footages and extracting call details from Vandana's mobile phone. They found that the number she frequently communicated with was Naina Parmar's. The police's suspicions turned toward Naina. The reason for this was also the 30-minute CCTV footage, in which Naina was seen coming and going multiple times. She was accompanied by 2 young men. Thai Sanjay Shukla called Naina Parmar to the police station for questioning. Before asking her about her acquaintance and friendship with Vandana Raghuvanshi, he directly asked, "What work do you do?" Upon hearing this sudden question, Naina became distressed and remained silent. I asked, "What work do you do in Indore?" but I didn't hear her response, Shukla said. He asked the same question again in a louder voice. "What work do you do?" Naina, a little flustered, replied, "I do the same work that Vandana does." Shukla, sharpening his tone, said, "Don't lie. I've heard something else about you." Naina, looking a bit uneasy, responded, "No, sir, you have misunderstood. I also did the same work that she did." Shukla, changing his approach, asked, "Okay, let it go. Tell me, you are from Duas and Vandana is from Indore. How did both of you become friends?" "We met casually first, then after some time, we got to know each other better and became friends," Naina explained. "When did you meet Vandana?" Shukla asked. "It was during the first lockdown, in August 2020. I had come to Indore in search of work. The company I was working for had shut down. I was sitting at the bus station in despair. planning to go back to Duas when I met Vandana for the first time, Naina explained. What happened after that? Shukla inquired. Naina replied, as we started talking, I realized she had the same problem I had. She, too, was looking for work, and I was also searching for a job. Like me, she wasn't happy with her in-laws. I didn't find any transportation, so I went with her at her suggestion. She said we could do something good together. Shukla asked, and you went with her right away after the first meeting? Naina said. What could I do, sir? I was in desperate need of work. I was already in debt. But sir, the work she suggested didn't feel right to me, so I refused. What work did she suggest? Shukla asked curiously. Not work, sir. She was in the business. The business of the body, Naina said, hesitantly. Hearing this, Shukla was shocked, and he muttered, Oh, I see. What happened next? Shukla asked. Naina replied, I clearly refused. What she did under the name of room service, I couldn't do. Just because of the family's lies and financial struggle, it didn't mean I should sleep with other men. Shukla asked, But you told me you did the same work as Vandana. How did that happen? Naina replied, I refused, but the mistake was that I couldn't sever my friendship with her. We continued talking on the phone. I continued meeting her in Indore while lying to my family that I was still in Duas. Some work came my way in grocery stores, but it was exhausting and paid little. I didn't enjoy it, so I quit. That's when I resorted to the sex service business. Shukla mocked. So, that's when you entered the sex work business? Naina replied. No, sir. It wasn't because of that. One time, I was really desperate. She used to meet me often, trying to convince me. She said, You're good looking. You could earn well doing room service. You will make your clients happy and become rich. What's wrong in using your beauty and selling a little flesh? I'm not asking you to work like women in red light areas. Work as a sex worker with dignity. Nobody will ever know what you do. Shukla listened carefully, and Naina continued. One day, I really needed some money, so I called her and asked for a loan. The next day, she invited me over. I went to meet her to borrow the money, but again, she started her persuasion. She said, Come with me, I'll help you earn not 5, but 100,000. You'll make more money than you can imagine. You won't even have to return any money. I quietly listened. Slowly, her words started to settle in my mind, and I eventually gave in. That day, I ended up sleeping with 4 men. By evening, she handed me 50,000 and said, Come back tomorrow. Shukla asked, What happened next? Naina continued. The next day, I returned the money to her. I looked at her with mixed feelings, feeling both ashamed and defeated, and returned to Duas without saying anything. Shukla asked, So, the information I received about Vandana and you was not wrong. Your statement confirms the evidence. But who killed Vandana? She was your close friend, and both of you were in the same business. Then who could have killed her? Her husband? Or someone else? Shukla asked softly, trying to get to the truth. Naina replied, I don't know, sir. I can only tell you about myself. I don't know who had issues with her or who was her enemy. I just worked for her, providing room service, and went back home in the evening. Did she teach you how to get money from clients? How to make money in this business? Shukla asked. Naina responded, Yes, she taught me how to make clients happy and understand their needs. She taught me different sex techniques and ways to satisfy their desires. I understood the men's sexual hunger, and sometimes, without even having sex, I could earn money just by spending time with them. Shukla asked, Apart from you, who else worked for Vandana in this business? How much did you earn in a month? Naina replied, There was one more girl, Pooja, from Indore. I can't say exactly how much she earned, but yes, Vandana used to get a good commission from my clients. I had more demand than Pooja. Many of my clients became regular. They preferred me over others. They would even offer more money to take me on business trips or vacations. Shukla asked, So, what you're saying is that your demand was higher, and you were getting opportunities to expand your business. Then, wasn't Vandana your enemy? Naina replied, No, sir. I was thinking of leaving this business. I had saved some money, and I planned to open a boutique in Duas or Indore. But when Vandana found out, she got upset. Pooja convinced her, and Vandana apologized to me. What happened next? Shukla wanted to know more, so he asked, "What happened next?" "Sir, one customer told Vandana Ragvanshi that she wanted to meet her privately but did not want to pay her commission money. The next day, Vandana sent me a small video. When I opened it, I was shocked. It was a video with my own customer. Suddenly, I received a message saying that if I met any customer without her permission, she would send this video to my mother. I had no idea when she had made this private video of mine, and now she was blackmailing me by threatening to show it to my mother." Shukla asked, "What did you do to avoid the blackmail?" "What could I do? I just kept quiet. I didn't understand anything. I became a puppet of Vandana. Sometimes, my mind would stop working. When I went home, I was scared my mother would ask something. I'm her only child, and my earnings support the family. My mother was dreaming of my marriage, but no one was coming forward. My marriage age had passed." Naina started sobbing. Shukla called the lady constable and instructed her to bring tea and water. After a while, when Naina calmed down, Shukla showed her a video. It was CCTV footage showing her with two young men. Shukla asked, "Who are these people with you?" "This CCTV video is from the night Vandana was murdered." Naina broke into a sweat as she watched the video. Shukla realized that his inquiry was heading in the right direction. He handed Naina a tissue and said, "Now, tell the truth. If you don't, I won't be able to save you from this video that I have. I also have the nude video. Don't think you can escape." "Yes, sir, I'll tell you everything. These two men are Ashok Ragvanshi and Galu Ragvanshi from Duas. They frequently come to Indore with us. They claim to be my brothers, but they are infatuated with me. There's a lot of playful banter between us. They think that someday I'll end up having a relationship with them. We are very open with each other, and we casually discuss everyone's relationships in the village. That's how they were always willing to do anything I asked, including when I told them about the blackmail I was facing from Vandana. They suggested a solution, and the solution was Vandana's murder." Naina trembled and said, "Yes, sir. According to the plan, on the night of November 27th, 2022, they slit Vandana's throat." Naina went silent for a while. Later, Shukla asked for the details of Ashok and Galu. The next day, he took them into custody for questioning. Both Ashok and Galu admitted to the murder. According to the information they provided, Shukla recovered the motorcycle and saw that the saw used in the murder had been discarded. Naina was with them in Indore on the day of the crime. That evening, a dense fog had started to settle. From a distance, she pointed out Vandana's house to Ashok and Galu, and then she went to get breakfast. Ashok and Galu had brought chili powder with them. They told Vandana that they were Naina's brothers. When Vandana offered them tea, they suddenly threw chili powder into her eyes and slit her throat with a saw. After the murder, they fled. About half an hour later, Naina returned to Vandana's house, where she found Vandana lying dead on the floor, covered in blood. She called the police and returned to Duas. The police questioned Naina Parmar, Ashok Ragvanshi, and Galu Ragvanshi, and after their investigation, a case was filed for Vandana Ragvanshi's murder. They were presented in court, where they were sent to judicial custody. Thank you for listening to this story till the end. Please share your thoughts by commenting below. And for more real crime stories, subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to like and share the story. Thank you.